Good morning. Good morning, Manuel.
Good morning, Santi. How are you?
Doing well. What about you, Mike? All good?
Yeah, good. Not bad.
Wanting to learn project management?
Yeah, probably.
That's good. Good morning, Tavish, Andres, Jose, Patricio. This is Santi Vela. Please start connecting to the class. Thank you.
Hi, good morning.
Hi there, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Fantastic. I'm glad to have you here, guys. Something very important to participate in the class, to have the camera on. That is truly, truly important. So take your time, all right, fantastic. If you need some time to get ready, that is completely okay. But yeah, one of the things that we need to have clear from day one is we start at 9 a.m. Melbourne time, and we have the capability to cooperate, to collaborate with the class. So the camera on is very important. All right, that said, I am very, very glad that you guys have joined this particular program that we are starting to run today. This is a great day for many of us. Why? First of all, because we start in a process. We start in a process. In project management, you will learn the importance of a process. So today we starting this journey, and the objective, listen up, the objective, listen up, of this particular program is that at the end of it, you feel confident. You can raise your hand to say, I can run that project. That is all about. Yes, of course, you are going to get a certificate too, and that will be important too, 100%. But that is the outcome. The outcome will be the certificate, but the objective is to have people that is 100% confident when it comes to project management. How this confidence is demonstrated in real life. When you see an opportunity in the workplace, when you see an opportunity in the workplace to make the company better, and then you have the confidence, the strength, the determination to raise your hand and say, hey, hello, I want to be the project manager. I want to run that project. If we can get to that point, I will be happy. Lonsdale will be happy. School of Digital will be happy. You will be happy. Another way to analyze this is the following. If by the end of the program, you feel confident writing, posting, sharing content about project management, I will be happy. You will be happy. Another way to see this, and with this one I finish this introduction, is if by the end of the program, listen up, you can do project management consultancy, is because we have done it right. So it doesn't matter which angle you want to take, which avenue you want to take. Project management consultancy, fantastic. Or you want to create content about project management, fantastic. Or you want to be a project manager in your organization, great too. So I just want you guys to keep that objective in mind. Welcome everyone. My name is Santi Vela, and I would like to know a little bit about you guys before I start. So I'm going to start with Jose Carlos. Jose Carlos, good morning.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Jose Carlos. It's so good to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is your motivation? What do
Okay.
you want to achieve? Yes.
Okay, yeah, first of all, I'm Jose Carlos Muñoz. I'm 31 years old. I'm from Mexico. Now, currently I live in Guanajuato, Mexico. I work for Volkswagen. I have been working there for almost 7 years in logistics area. So I want to take this diploma to have the opportunity to take some new activities within the company. So we have a lot of projects. So I want to have all the knowledge to raise my hand.
That's it. That's it. To raise your hand. That's it. That's what they want. That's all. That is the objective. How simple it is. I mean, how simple it is to raise your hand. You will learn as we advance that the project manager has this personality, has this curiosity, has this empowerment. He's not waiting for someone to give him or give her power. The project manager goes and see around, look around the company. The project manager is always trying to find a better way to do things. And eventually, the project manager, because he's a risk lover, because he's a curious mind, will find a way to make something better eventually. It could happen the first day. It could happen after 7 years of you working in a company. It doesn't matter. But when you find something that you can do better, or that you know that some people can do better, you raise your hand. And that is courage, because it's not simple to make that decision. It's not. Not everyone in the company wants to create change. Not everyone in the company is a driver of change. Not everyone. So feel proud about that perspective about that perspective in life, Jose Carlos. Well done. 7 years working for a company like Volkswagen, and you being 31. Wow, what a journey. Fantastic.
Yes. Thank
That's
you.
good. And the idea is that you apply in that very company what you learn here.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
are, in many ways, the ideal student for this kind of programs. Why? Because you can have the playground in front of you for you to execute what you learn. Jose Carlos, welcome. Any questions?
Thank you so much. No, from my side.
Fantastic.
Right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patricio.
Hello, I'm Patricio. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Mexico too. I'm studying communications and public relations, and I'm taking this course because I would really like the diploma, and I'm a running candidate for the school board of my university, and I would like to run projects there. And also because I would like to run campaigns and projects when I graduate.
Wow. Wow, Patricio, 20.
Yes, 20.
That's good. I love that. That's really, really good. Now, Patricio, when we finish, you are going to learn. You are going to understand the difference between a campaign and a project. Because you mentioned, I want to run campaigns and I want to run projects for my university. Fantastic that you want to do that. But you will find out very, very quickly that a project is not a campaign. Patricio, right now, I want you to learn something. A project is not a campaign. And I'm going to tell you why. Because usually, campaigns do not change companies. Usually. It may happen, but it's very, very rare. However, projects always, listen, always change companies and organizations, always. So when you think about a project, I want you to think in terms of, if I execute this project, the company tomorrow will be a different organization. That is what I want you to understand, everyone here, about the implications of this. You are creating change. In fact, and later we talk about this, if you want to top it up in the future, you can do change management. You can learn change management. Because a project changes the company. The company needs to adapt itself to that new environment, to that new process, to that new system, and needs to deal with change. Some people will be made redundant. Other people will be invited. So the project manager with capabilities in change management is a powerhouse. All right, Patricio, welcome to the class. Do you
Thank
have
you.
any questions before I move forward?
No, not yet.
Feel free to stop the class, Patricio. And this goes for everyone. This is a window. That's it. This is a window. Once you have a question, once you have that need to say something, go ahead. Don't wait. Andres, good morning.
Hi there. Good morning. Well, my name's Andres. I'm from Mexico as well. I was studying in Beijing, China before the pandemic started. To be frank, I haven't really studied anything ever since. I'm a Mandarin student. The reason why I decided to study this course was because I believe that the methods that are used in project management can really be applied to any project, I believe. Hence why I decided to study this course. I'm really excited to learn a lot and to hopefully apply all the knowledge that I learned from this course. I want to be a leader more than I am an employee now. Yeah.
That's it. That is the attitude. We are winning. Mandarin. Wow. Myself, I will trade. Listen up. I will trade right now 40% of my knowledge in project management for Mandarin speaking capabilities. I will trade it right now. Right now. No question. If we have this magic bullet and somebody tell me, Santi, look, I give you 40% of Mandarin, you give me 40% of project management, like this. What an skill. What an skill. You are in the right path. No doubt that you will be a leader. No doubt. When you study Mandarin, when you have the courage to be in China, you will be a leader. I'm telling you that because of my own experience, Andres. I lived in Shanghai, in Ningbo, in Guangzhou, for over 2 years in China, with my family, living there. So I know what it takes to be that kind of person. But I don't know, I don't have the Mandarin. You have it. Well done.
Thank you.
Love the motivation about being a leader. Love it. We are going to learn as well the difference of a manager and a leader. Hmm? Leadership is something else. Hmm? That is not something that you decide to do, that you decide to get. No. It's not a certificate. I know that there are certificates in leadership, but I don't believe in them. I know that there are certificates in entrepreneurship. I do not believe in them. Because that is not something that you get in terms of someone giving you a certificate of a piece of paper. It's the result of something that is called seniority. In Australia, a senior person is that one that has the qualifications, yes, but also the experience. So experience takes time. And once you have this seniority and you have a group of people that is asking you for directions, listen up. When you have a group of people that is telling you, Andres, which way should we go? At that moment, you are a leader. Remember these words. There will be a point in your life when people will ask you which way we should go. And you will be confronted with that reality. And if you have what is needed, you will make a decision for the team. And at that moment, you are a leader. Now, the risk of being a leader is huge. And if you make a mistake, you may be in big problems. Probably will be the last time that you are a leader. And we need to understand this. This is the reason why these people in large corporations, they make salaries around $1 million, because they are making huge decisions for the companies. The risk is huge. If something goes wrong, they may not be the next leader of that company. And remember, they have been studying for the last 20 years management, leadership, marketing, business, project management to get there. Some of them, they have sacrificed many things, family, time with friends, holidays, to be there. So we need to understand the value of our leaders. If there is something I respect, is leadership. If there is something I respect, is hierarchies. Because the reason they are taking decisions is because they have a call to make those decisions. So if you want to be a leader, Andres, go for it. And you are going to get all the support that you may require in the next 6 months. Feel free to ask anything that you want to know about that topic too. Highly related to project management, but is one step above. Remember, we are going to be managers here, not leaders. But it's a really good first step. It's a really good first step. Thank you, Andres.
Thank you, Santi.
All right. Tavish, are you there?
Hello, good morning, Sandeep. Yes, I'm here. I'm very sorry, there's some problem with my laptop. This is the first time I'm using this Zoom meeting on my laptop.
Okay.
I'm working on it. I will try to sort it out. Sandeep, by profession, I'm an electrical engineer. I'm 38 years old, and I'm associated with Schneider Electric. It's a French company from last 14 years in project management domain. So I'm leading the team. Uh, I want to gain something from here and implement in my uh, ongoing projects to streamline the things. This is what is my motive to do this training.
All right. Tavish, it's because I cannot see you, but I understand what is going on with your laptop. Don't worry about it. You are going to fix it. Can you repeat again what is the objective, the motivation that you have to do this program? I just want to make sure that I understand it properly. Repeat it, please.
My motive is to gain something extra, something new which I don't know. still not realize I'm in the project management field from long time. We are implementing some of the project management things, but I don't have any special training for the project management. So the purpose for this to understand project management in detail
Okay.
and implement in my daily projects, which I'm executing and I'm with my team.
Fantastic. Well, let's do just that.
Yes,
Let's learn project management in detail.
yes,
Let's do just that. And you will find out that as we advance, you are going to be changing from someone who doesn't have the know-how about how project managers talk to someone that will be using all these project management words. How
yes,
we get to that point? By knowing in detail each one of the key
exactly,
concepts
exactly, yes,
in project
exactly.
management. So thank you, Tavish. And allow me to use your experience as well. Allow me to take advantage of what you're doing.
Sure,
Hmm?
yes,
That will be helpful for the class and for everyone here. All right. I'm going to say something before I finish. The the importance of you stopping the class is of paramount importance. Seriously, if you do not understand something, you need to stop the class. You cannot allow the class to continue. We are a team now.
yes,
In project management, we work in teams and we are a team now. And please do not allow the class to continue if there is one concept that is not clear.
sure, sure.
All right.
Yeah, all
And this
right.
goes for everyone, not just for Tavish, but for everyone. Thank you, Tavish. I truly appreciate your introduction.
Thank you very much.
All right, Manuel, do you want to say some words before
Yes,
I
of course.
start with this class? Manuel is someone very important because he's one of the creators of what we are seeing here. Manuel, please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, Santi. Thank you.
Come on.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, my name is Manuel Cebrian, and I'm working at Lonsdale Institute already 7 years as a sales and marketing manager. And I've been working in this project with Santi, who is the creator, the great creator of this baby. It's a new baby in our school. And Hasi is another person in our team that she's in Spain, that she probably will be here with you guys next week. Okay, I'm working in the school 7 years as a sales and marketing manager. I did teaching in Spain and Spanish, but living in Australia already 8 years. I did as well politics in Spain. I was running campaigns for politicians in Spain, in South America, and in the States for 10 years. And okay, I'm here, and I will join with you guys for as a student, Santi. So I will be here because I think I can learn a lot because I've been leading people during 11 years, but I don't have the knowledge as a project management. And I would
Fantastic.
like to do it.
Great. Great. Look, Manuel, it's a privilege to have you here. You know, guys, Manuel was in the Spanish TV few days ago, you know, and Manuel is one of these young leaders in Spain. And I want to highlight something. And this is because Manuel was talking about politics. The project manager is someone who knows about pretty much everything, about politics, about business, about technology, about human resources, about marketing, about sales, about processes, about logistics. Hmm? Is and you may ask why, and I'm going to tell you the reason. Project management itself is not a profession. Itself, the project manager, just like you are a project manager and that's it, will not work. Hmm? The project management program needs someone that is curious about the business environment, about the political environment, about the technical environment, and also about the social environment. So the political environment, the economical environment, the social environment, and the technological environment are of paramount importance for the project manager. The project manager that knows about this will do better in project management. All right. So Manu, you are that kind of person because I've been working with you. It's a privilege to have you here.
Thank you.
And
It's a pleasure.
the same goes, Mike. If there is a question, don't allow the class to continue.
Okay, I will. And guys, if you think that anything that you think that we could improve, please let Santi or let me know. Okay, because for us it's a big step doing this program online, because we have done, or we are doing this program at Lonsdale Institute, Melbourne and Sydney campuses for 7 years, but face to face. We never have done this online for students that they are in Australia, that they are in Mexico, Bolivia, Spain, whatever. And we will grow. In the next intake, we will have Spanish people, we will have Bolivian, we will have Chilean, probably Italians. So we want to create a big community and a new big family online, of course. Okay, thank you and welcome.
Thank you for those words as well. And I reckon it's very important to stop by for a second to mention something about what Manuel have just said. We are a community, and we as group of people, in terms of what Lonsdale and School of Digital is doing, we are pioneers. We are developing something. We are creating something that has not been done before. We are moving a traditional certification to be 100% online. 100% online. We're talking about the whole process is 100% online. So thank you for those kind words, Manuel. If you guys have anything to suggest to Manuel or to me, this is an open space for those conversations to happen. All right, guys. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself before I present to you the program. All right. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to jump to present to you the program in detail. I'm going to present to you how the program was crafted, how it was connected, for you to understand what is our idea about this program, which is the value, by the way, of you doing the program with Lonsdale and Salt. My name is Santi Vela. I have been living in Australia for the last 20 years. I have been running companies in this country. My first company was called Beautiful Marketing. It was the first digital agency in this country, and I'm proud about it. Proud. 2006, first full capable digital marketing agency in Australia. For me, what was fantastic, because people start talking about what I was doing with this agency. And I ran it for 7 years. I sold it. I sold the company to a Chinese investor. And then I used that leverage to continue being an entrepreneur. But I have also worked as a project manager for large companies. One of them, Kenworth. Kenworth is part of a company that is called Packard. And just like Volkswagen is in the automotive industry. So Kenworth is a heavy duty truck. And I worked for this company for 7 years. Five of them running a multi-millionaire project to transform that company to digital capabilities and technologies. This is called, or this is known as digital transformation. Also, I have been teaching in the last 15 years, no stop, like no stop. I'm telling you, for me, teaching is a vocation, is a call. I need to teach. If I don't teach, I don't feel alive, because this is how I give back. Of course I get paid. Of course I make money. But teaching is something that is inside me. You will find out why. I've been working for different institutions. Carrick Business School, Kaplan Business School, Holmesglen TAFE, which is one of the largest TAFEs in Australia, Box Hill TAFE, which is one of the largest TAFEs in Australia as well, TAFE New South Wales, Sydney University, Ningbo School of Technologies and Foreign Affairs in China. And now I have a School of Digital, which is my own company. We have created a partnership with Lonsdale Institute to deliver what we want to be the best program in project management in Asia Pacific. I am open to questions. I am open to any conversation that will make these classes more enjoyable. My website is santivela.com. If one day you want to know more about me, you want to connect with me, go and Google Santi Vela or go to santivela.com. Connecting with me is of paramount importance too. If you have a LinkedIn profile, and you should, by the way, you should, start connecting with me, start connecting with everyone in this group. I want to add something. People that is doing project management is people that understand the future. Is people that understand the future. There is something about project managers. They can foresee. And I'm going to tell you something else. It's the best time to be studying project management. Why? Because of COVID-19. As a result of COVID, majority of industries, 90% of industries out there are being reinvented, are changing because of COVID. And guess what kind of people, what kind of professionals they are needing now as I speak to help these companies to transition? Project managers. Project managers will be in high demand. In the next 5 years, no stop for project managers. No stop. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be hectic for project managers. For the good ones, it's going to be unbelievable. Why? Because 90% of companies will be transitioning from something that they were for 50 years to a new phase. Post-COVID, companies will be more efficient. Post-COVID, companies will have all their processes mapped. Post-COVID, all the companies will understand how to make money regardless of the current situation, regardless if there is a pandemic, regardless if there is a war, regardless if there is a financial crash. Companies will be more resilient than ever, and they will call in project managers to transform that company to that level of competency. I am telling you this. Be ready for that call. It's the best time to be studying project management. It's the best time. So glad that you're here. All right, guys, if you don't have any question, I'm going to present to you the program now. Any questions before I move ahead?
Oh, you can go ahead, please.
Thank you, guys. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to share one screen with you guys. All right, can you see my screen, guys? Good news.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, have a look at this. We are starting today this particular block here that you see in the screen. This particular block will be 6 weeks. And then we move to the next one. In total, we have 24 weeks of work to be done. In this first block, I'm going to open it for you. We have these 3 units. The first one, the one that we start today, is called Manage Project Scope. 2 weeks, we are going to be doing Manage Project Scope. Is that clear? Now, in the next 2 weeks after that one, we are going to do Manage Project Information and Communication. And we finish our first block with Manage Project Risk. All right. Now, I want to pay attention to the screen. The first block is called the baseline. Can you see that? The reason it's called the baseline is because you are going to get here the basics of project management. The basics, the ABC of project management. The key information about project management. But then we are going to move to another block that is called people. You are going to find out very, very quickly that project managers are really good dealing with people. Project managers, they are fantastic negotiators. Listen up, fantastic negotiators. The best ones out there, they are really good negotiators. Why? Because they have communication skills, but also soft skills to manage, motivate people. So that second block is called people. We are going to learn how to manage the people in our project. Have a look. The first unit, manage project stakeholder engagement. We are going to learn how to manage stakeholders so they continue being engaged with the project. Then we move to manage human resources. Huh? How amazing is that? We are going to learn how to project manage human resources for our projects. And then we move one step further and we do team management, how to lead the team, how to be the team leader, or how to be the project manager of that project. So I want you guys to pay attention to this because it's super important that you get the program right. The first 3 classes are the baseline. And then you move to the people component. And then you move to the process component, which is the intake number 3. Can you see this? So in the process block, you are going to learn how to manage project integration. You are going to start connecting everything that you have learned. And then you move to continuous improvement. So you build on top of what you have learned. And then you learn about innovation, how to sustain and promote innovation in the workplace. So it's all about processes because organizations, the good ones, they work based on processes that are pre-established. And finally, and with this, we finish the program, we are going to have a very technical block, very technical, to manage project time, to manage the cost of the project, and to manage the quality of the project. This is where the value is. We were working for weeks, no stop, with Lonsdale, to craft what you have here in front of your screen. That logical connection of the units of this program is the value of this program. Other schools, they do not follow this order. Other schools, they do not block the units as we did. This is where innovation is being represented in this very program. I want you to keep that in mind. I want you to understand always that this program is being divided in 4 areas. Have a look at my whiteboard, please. Always, I want you to think baseline. Always. And then I want you to think people. And then I want you to think processes. And then I want you to think technology. That's it. I want you to place yourself in these areas all the time. So now we are starting with this one. 6 weeks. And then we move to the people block. 6 weeks. And then we move to the processes block. 6 weeks. And then we finish with the technical and technology block. 6 weeks. At the end of this program, you are going to be a confident project manager. You are going to have the certificate too, but you will be a confident project manager. Why? Because you will never forget that good project managers, once they know the key concepts, the first thing that they look at is at the people component in their companies. Are you understanding this? The good project managers, the good ones, not all of them, but the good ones, they understand that the first thing that they need to have a look at when thinking about establishing a new project is at the people component. The good ones don't care about processes yet. The good ones don't care about technologies. The bad ones, the bad project managers, you know what they do? They go to the company and they propose a new system. Hey, this is the new system for our company. It's an amazing system, so powerful. You know, and that is the vendor, and this is the cost of that new system. And everything will be fantastic because now we have this system. I am the best. No, it's not the best. It's the worst. Because you do not solve problems. You do not improve the company. You don't take the company forward with technology. No, with people first. You motivate people, you train people. And then once these people is ready, motivated, then you tell them, all right, these are the processes that we are going to implement in this company. Once people understand those processes, then you tell them, and now this is the technology that will allow all of this to happen. So always, I want you to think about this order: people, processes, technology. Not technology first is one of the big mistakes in project management. A lot of people think that project management is going to the company to propose a new system. It's not that simple, man. If it were that simple, you will tell to the vendor of that system, go and install that system in the company, and that's it. No, man. Project managers, they do not marry. They do not marry systems. Good project managers, they do not marry systems. They understand that if the process is properly mapped and designed, many systems will work with those processes. So the system is not that important. Are you getting that? Are you understanding that the system, the technology component, is not as important as the process? Are you understanding that the process component is not as important as the people component? That is the beauty of this. All right. So I have presented to you the program. What do you think? Give me a feedback, please. What do you think about this way to organize this program, guys? Andres, go ahead.
Well, as you were talking, I was going through your website, and I also went into the Lonsdale Institute website. And so yeah, I think it's good. I'm excited for the next 6 months, definitely, and I'm looking forward, to start learning with you guys. I think the way it's organized, it seems good, if you ask me.
Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, that is where the value is. So what is the first thing that we're going to learn for 6 weeks, Andres? What is the first thing that we're going to learn for 6 weeks?
Well, we're starting with the baseline.
With the baseline. And what is the baseline?
Well, I'm afraid I might make a mistake.
Doesn't matter.
But
Doesn't matter.
right.
The baseline will be the key concepts in project management, like the basic theory.
Right.
So we can start.
Perfect.
Now, once we have done the baseline, Jose, we are going to do people, yes? Jose, what do you understand now about the people component in project management? Jose Carlos, please go ahead.
Okay, I see all the time in the company that in many cases the leaders don't think in the baseline, the people or the processes. They only want to implement a new project, and in many cases we didn't think about the people skills or the knowledge of the people or the in our teamwork. So it could I think it couldn't help to develop a new system or a new project. So I think it's really important to think first in the people.
Yes.
To make a team where you can work together
before anything else,
to be focused on the goal.
And you see, look, Jose Carlos is actually reflecting on his own experience to confirm this. A lot of companies, they just go straight away to the solution. The technology is the solution. They go to solution mode. Not that easy, not that simple to do that. You cannot just go and fix something with money, paying someone to install something. That is not how things work in life. No, you need to nurture, right word, to nurture the team first. So they understand the importance. They understand the why. Listen up, the why we are doing this project. And you communicate to them the why we are doing this project. Guys, what was the first thing I told you when I started this class? I told you, this is my why, the reason, the objective, the why we here is because I want you to be confident with project management, remember? I told you I want to raise up your hand when there is an opportunity to execute, to plan, to deliver a new project. That is the why. And that's what I'm doing right now with you guys. I'm trying to get the team right, to understand the why. In project management, you do not do processes and technologies until people understand specifically why we are doing a project. All right? So fantastic. Thank you, Jose Carlos. Patricio, what is a process? What do you think a process is, Patricio?
It's the way you try to get to your goal once you understand your people, and when you know what you want to achieve, you need to think of a pathway and how to get there.
That's it, a pathway. I cannot explain this any better, because that is what it is, a pathway. The process is the pathway. And you have some, like milestones. You have some phases, some stages, some stepping stones. Of course, but at the end of the day, it's just a pathway to an end. Fantastic. Well done, Patricio. We need to understand that that pathway needs to be built after we have some people to walk through that pathway. Is that clear, Patricio? Is that clear that we only can build that process mapping after we have the people that will be walking through that pathway? Is that clear, Patricio?
Yes, it is.
We cannot forget this. We can't. And I'm going to tell you something about my classes, Mike. You cannot forget things. Project management is a serious discipline. It's just for the best of the best. I'm telling you, because many people can do marketing, many people can do business, many people can do related areas, but project management, you need to be methodical. Methodical. There is an order. Remember what I told you when I first introduced myself. I told you I believe in hierarchies. Remember that I told you that? Remember that I told you that I believe in leadership? Because project managers, by default, we believe in order. We believe that if there is chaos, if there is mess, we can organize it to have a logical connection of steps. And that logical connection of steps is the process. But I don't want you to go to your company and to start working on processes. No, I want you to go to the company and start building people and trust. At the end, we tell the company, this is the technology, this is the solution. And listen up, what you need to say to the company is the following. However, company, if you don't want this particular system from this vendor, no problem. No problem. We also can use that other vendor from that country. We also can use that other. Doesn't matter which vendor we get, because the processes are already mapped and the people is already trained. The system, the technology then is not that relevant, is not that critical. So where is the big mistake? Where project management fail? When naive project managers, when unexperienced project managers, they start the journey with the technology. So thank you, Patricio. I reckon this has been now 100% understood. Now, let's move to our first unit. We are going to be doing a little bit of theory first for about 45 minutes. About 10:45, we're going to do our first break. All right? Because I know that this is full on. I know. Yeah? It's going to be full on. Be prepared for this. If it's Friday and you know that the class is coming, be prepared for this because I am a full-on teacher, but you will like it that way. So, 45 minutes of theory, we go to a break of 15 minutes, and then we return to the class to execute in real life, in a real project, what you have learned. So, our first unit is manage project scope. So the unit that we are doing now is manage project scope. Have a look at my whiteboard, guys. We are going to learn how to manage project scope. Two weeks. Focus 100% on that. After these 2 weeks, you are going to master. You are going to master a project scope. 2 weeks. We don't have more time. Then we move to something else. So don't miss a class. If there is something that you don't understand, you need to stop me straight away because we cannot get back to this content unless you go to the videos, of course. You can go to the recorded videos 100%. But in terms of the program, I need to make sure that everyone here, Manuel, Tavis, Andres, Patricio, Jose Carlos, understand 100% what is a project scope. A project scope is a boundary, is a fence. That's it. A boundary or a fence. You know what a fence is? When you have here a piece of land and you have, you know, like your house here, and you want to build a fence around the perimeter of your house. Why you want to build a fence around your house? Because you don't want people from the outside world to give you problems, to give you dramas. You don't want people from outside your house to be in your dining table. You don't want these people to be picking the fruits. You don't want these people to be looking at what you're doing inside your house. You don't, so you build a fence. And everything that is here within that fence is your responsibility. Everything that is outside this fence is not. So the project scope is a boundary, is a circle that represents what you need to deliver in the project and what is your responsibility. Good project managers, they understand that if this is not properly established, the project will fail. And I am telling you this because of my own experience. I have failed, mate. Do you think that I have done projects and all of them have been successful? No, I have failed badly. Badly. I have failed badly. It's part of the journey. That's why I'm here today, because I have failed badly and I don't want you to fail badly. No, how we control this scope, how we manage this scope? By negotiating with stakeholders, by telling stakeholders, now you can talk, now you can give me feedback, but after I have decided on what is the scope, it's not going to be that simple for you to ask me to do anything else in the project. I'm going to explain this from a different perspective now. In project management, you have always a need for something that is called a budget. Always. Like a project needs a budget. Always. There is no way to escape this. Are you getting this? Yeah? Always. Now, if the budget is $1, well, that is the budget. But it could be 1 billion. But there is no such a thing as doing a project without a budget. And this is one of the main problems in companies. They tell people to do things, but they do not tell them what is the budget, or they do not give them budget. Unbelievable, isn't it? But it's real. Some companies do not give managers a budget to operate. Unbelievable, but happens. Now, another thing that you need is resources. We need to understand that for a project, we need some resources. Now, I'm going to tell you something about resources. They are limited. In all organizations, resources are limited. In all economies, resources are limited. No exemption to this rule, I'm telling you. There is no way to escape from this reality. What is the reality? On planet Earth, all resources are limited. The economy and the economists, they study this phenomena to manage limited resources in a country, if we're talking about macroeconomics, for example. But a parent will have to go to the shopping center or to the supermarket once a week to buy some groceries to bring back home. These groceries will be in the pantry, in the kitchen. And that parent needs to manage those resources so they last a week. If the parent doesn't, the kids will go to the kitchen, will take everything, and one day after, there will be nothing. Why? Because resources are limited. It's important that we remember this in project management. And number 3, in project management, you need something that is called a timeline. No project can be run without a timeline. That will be ridiculous. Or the concept of start the project, is a test, let's see how it goes. If it works well, that is ridiculous, guys. In project management, you do not do that. In project management, you have day one, and then you have the final day, and you go all the way through, unless there is not a business case anymore. That is the only exemption to the timeline. I'm going to repeat this because this is extremely important, guys. All projects, regardless of the size, they have a timeline. And the timeline is a commitment. Is a commitment, is a serious commitment to one day to start a project and one day to finish that project. It's a commitment. Majority of projects, they have a commitment of 3 months. Very, very normal as well to see projects that have a commitment of 6 months. Macro projects, infrastructure, roads, airports, they have a commitment of 2 years, 3 years sometimes. Macro projects for government. But at company level, majority of projects are 3 months or 6 months. What does it mean? It means that we start in day 1 and we finish day 90. Or we start day 1 and we finish day 180. I want you guys to remember this. Never allow anyone to misunderstand this very concept. All projects have a beginning and an end, all of them. Guys, there is something in companies that is called operations, you know? Operations. And a lot of people, they are confused about this because operations and project management are very, very similar things. But I'm going to tell you what is the difference. Operations, they don't have beginning, they don't have an end. Projects always beginning, end. Operations are these things that you need to run a company. At what time you open the shop? Who is coming today? What are those shifts? How do I pay suppliers? What is the cash flow today? How do I pay for insurance now? How I organize a meeting with a potential client. It's the daily operation of a business. That is why it's called operations, isn't it? You cannot escape from operations. You know what I mean? Like every day you need to do operations to maintain a business. So there is not a timeline. There is not like one day you say, all right, I finished with operations, all done. I'm going to do something else, guys. Thank you. I finished. No. Operation is an ongoing activity, but projects are not. Projects have an end. Operations, they also have a budget and they also have resources, but what they don't have, the timeline. Is that clear, guys? So, listen up.
Yes.
When we are talking about the scope, we are talking about this big circle here. And within this circle, which is called the scope, what is my budget? What resources I have? And what is my timeline? And if somebody asks me to do something else for the project, what you would say. So this is the scope. In this scope, you have a budget of $1,000. So the scope is $1,000. The resource is a team of people. This time, the team of people will be 4 people. All right. Four people. And the timeline will be 6 months. We start in January and we finish in June. 6 months is the timeline. So, Andres, if someone asks you, someone outside the scope asks you, hey, do this for me as well, what would you say?
Well, if it's outside the scope, I would assume it's not part of our project. So I guess I'd have to be honest and to say that, like you said, if this is what I understood, when we're doing the scope of a project, we have to pay attention to certain things that make up the project, which is the budget, which is mainly money. It's a figure that could be mostly money. And the next one is resources, which is our human resource, meaning our employees. And so if you ask me, as someone who doesn't have a lot of experience in project management, hence why I'm here, if someone asks me from outside the scope to do something for them, I would probably say that, I'm sorry, mate, but you're not part of my project. That's what I would probably say.
And it's a very logical answer. And I appreciate your commitment and your collaboration with the class. That is fantastic. Guys, please remember, these classes is not about being right or wrong. Manuel can tell you about that. The beauty of the Australian education system is that it's not about being right or wrong. It's about being, at the end of the journey, competent, which is a totally different thing. So feel free to fail. Feel free to give your opinion. That's what really counts. It's not about being right or wrong. That's not the point. All right. Now, in reality, Andres was wrong. You see, we need to be very careful with these concepts, because the question was, hey, Andres, what would you say if someone asked you to do something else that was not planned in the scope? And Andres was, sorry, Mike, we cannot do it. Yeah. In project management, listen up, Manuel, Patricio, Andres, Jose Carlos, and Tavish. We cannot say no.
Exactly.
We can't. Tavish, you know that, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. We cannot tell like that. However, we can tell them that it is not part of our scope. We didn't count in our budget, so we don't have any resources, and definitely it will increase the timeline. So if you want to do it, yes, we are ready to do it. With additional cost, we have to do the working, and we have to give the you have to give the variation order.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So thank you, Tavish, for that insight. That's what makes this class interesting. Thank you for that. Now we know that if someone asks you, hey, do something else, what you would say is, it is outside the scope. All right? That is how professional project managers operate. You don't say yes. Of course, you cannot. It's not your call, by the way. Later on, we discuss about the project sponsor and what is the role of the project sponsor and the project board. We discuss that later. So it's not your role to say yes, anyway. But also you cannot say no. What you need to say to that stakeholder is, your request Your request is outside the scope. Is that clear? That's what you say. It's outside the scope, Mike, sorry. Or you say, your request is outside the scope. Now, if the stakeholder insists, they say, Mike, this is important. I just forgot to tell you about it when we were discussing about how to do the scope. I just forgot about it. I am sorry. The stakeholder will tell you. But this is so important for my department. Please help me, project manager. We need to include this in the project manager. Please help me. This is important for my department, project manager. What you would say is, regardless, is outside the scope. Now, if you insist, then you need to log something that is called a change request. So there is an official form in project management that is called a change request. And then you give that form to the stakeholder for the stakeholder to fill it. And you know what happened? I'm telling you this because of my own experience. A lot of stakeholders, they will say, no, this actually wasn't that important. I don't want to write it down here in this form. Because when people write things down in a form, they are giving a position, an opinion about the importance of that task. And sometimes if there is not a strong business case for it, they will say, no, let's just leave it as it is. So the response of there is not it's outside the scope, you can ask for a change request formally, is what you need to do now. So Andres, I need you to remember this. Andres, I need you to remember this. Not for the next 2 weeks, for life.
Got it.
For life, Mike. For life.
Got it.
If somebody asks you, hey, do something that is not planned, do something that is outside the scope, you cannot say no. You cannot say yes. You say, is outside the scope. That is how we reply in project management. If the stakeholder insists, you are busy, man. You are not going to tell the person, oh, yeah, go and fill this form and then I think about it. No, you don't say that. No, you're busy. What you say is, sorry, it is outside the scope. And then the stakeholder will say, no, but please help me. This is important. Then you say, all right. Go and fill this form, which is a formal change request. And then we think about it, okay? Thank you, Andres. I will do that. Andres, I cannot allow you to forget this.
Okay.
Done?
Got it.
Deal?
All right, deal. Thank you.
All right. Now, this is the scope. The scope is that budget, those resources, and that timeline. If you do not protect this scope, if you do not manage this scope, your project will be a mess. You are not going to be able to control it. You are going to fail badly. It's horrible to see this. Badly. Like it will be your last project in the company kind of thing. People will judge you. People will think that you were not prepared. And guess what? You were not prepared. And you don't want that to happen. You want to be prepared. And that's why when Manuel and Hassi and Gil from when we were talking about this, we were talking about what is that first unit that is of paramount importance. So without that understanding, it's very risky to continue project scope, to manage the project scope. If somebody asks you to do something outside the scope, now you need to understand that your budget will be affected. Now you need to understand that your resources will be affected and that the timeline will be affected. So what before was planned to be executed with $1,000, now is going to be 1.2. What before was intended to be executed with 4 people, now you will need 6 people. what before was intended to be achieved in 6 months now will be achieved in 7 months. So every time that you accept a change request, excuse me, you do not accept the change request. The project board, which is a group of people that will be monitoring the project, will accept it. But once the board or the sponsor, if you don't have a board, accept the change request, this scope will be changed, and from that day on will be different. You have a new scope. You need to control this though. Just because you can change it, it doesn't mean that it should be that simple to change it. That is called the baseline of the project. You want to protect the baseline of the project. Now, you are responsible for the budget. You are responsible for the resources. You are responsible for the timeline. But you are not accountable. So let's try to understand the difference between responsibility and accountability before I go any further with managing the project scope. Because when you are managing the project scope, you need to understand that you are responsible for the scope, but you are not accountable for the project. So, from your experience, Manuel, what is the difference between responsibility and accountability? What can you recall from previous experiences, Manu?
Wow, big question.
Big one, I know.
Okay, responsibility. So you can be responsible of a project, right? Or for a operation, right?
So true.
So we have.
But what is the? I mean, what is higher in terms of level of influence and power? What is higher, accountability or responsibility?
Probably responsibility.
All right. Actually, it's the opposite then.
Oh, really? Oh.
But again, that's why we're here. Yeah. In
Yeah.
project management, some people is accountable and some people is responsible. And that's why we need to understand the difference of these two properly today. The project manager is not accountable, is responsible. Now, what is accountability? Is when you need to pay the consequences. Right word. You need to pay the consequences of something not going well. You pay with money or with jail. That's how it is. That's why to be a company director is not an easy job, because if something goes wrong, who goes to jail? The managers or the directors? What do you think?
Director.
The directors. So directors are accountable and the managers are responsible. The legislation, the framework in which projects operate are very, very clear about this division. And the project manager needs to understand that this division exists. Some people in project management are accountable and some people is responsible. So the project manager is responsible for the project. Who is accountable for the project then?
Management.
What level of management?
What?
I guess if, for example, if we're talking about big enterprise or a big company, the people who are accountable for the actions of managers would be the directors, I'd assume. For example, let's say that I have a company with my name on it.
Yep.
And so let's call it, I don't know, computers, like Andres Computers or something, whatever. And I have an employee. Whatever the employee does, whatever he does wrong, I guess people are going to say, hey, it was Andres who told his employer to do that. So they would help me accountable for the actions of my manager or my employee in this case, which I would call a stakeholder in this case.
Spot on. Spot on. Spot on. The accountable person is that person that will be in serious problems if something goes wrong. Who are accountable or who is accountable? Company directors, members of the board, and the owner of the company.
Exactly.
Okay. Responsible managers. Managers are responsible. I want to tell you something else. In the business structure, managers are in the middle of the pyramid. Yeah. So if you have a traditional company, what you have here is staff. Is not a very nice word, but it's just to refer to coordinators, officers, administrators, operators, yeah, staff. Here in the middle, you have managers. And here at the top, you have directors. In Australia, for example, we don't use the CEO term, Chief Executive Officer. We use something that is called the MD. So what is the MD? The Managing Director. Is the director of the directors, kind of thing. The MD, the Managing Director. Now remember, the Managing Director is making, I don't know, probably in Australia, $400,000, $500,000 per year. In a medium-sized, large kind of company in Australia. And if we're talking about one of the large companies in Australia, Telstra, the National Australian Bank, we are talking about annual salaries, listen up, of $2 million, $3 million per year. And people, why they are making all that money? Well, because they are accountable.
Right.
And if they make the wrong decision, because remember, these people is giving direction. That's why they are called directors. Because they are not working. Like a lot of people goes, but why they are not working much? Because they are not workers. They are not workers. They are directors. It's a different role, a very important one. Because we depend on them. We depend on them to make those decisions. And if they make the wrong one, they will be accountable for that decision. And the future of that person could be really, really gray. Gray, you know, like pale, if the decision is not the right one. Managers, in the other hand, they have to work a lot. I don't know if you have noticed, but managers, they start working 7 a.m., 8 a.m. sometimes, and they finish 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Have you noticed that? Because managers, they need to do a lot of work. They need to manage resources. And it's time consuming. You are dealing with people, you know, and people have different goals and different dreams and different motivations. One of the team members, they want to be in the company for 20 years. The other team member just wants to be for 6 months and then wants to go to a beautiful place in Asia Pacific. And another team member wants to get married and have kids. Another team member wants to be single for the rest of her life. one team member is wanting more payment, more money, and the other team member is not interested in money, but is very interested in recognition. So the manager needs to deal with all of it, and it's time consuming, but it's not, they are not accountable. So that's why managers, they make $120,000, $130,000, $140,000 per year in this country, which is really good payment as well. But they are not accountable. In Australia, a project manager makes around $130,000 per year, which is a good payment, isn't it? But they are not accountable, they are responsible. All right, so now that we understand the difference between those two things, let's go back to the scope. This is the scope. And the PM, what is the PM? The project manager, yes? The PM needs to control and manage this scope. But if the scope needs to be changed, the PM needs to talk to someone else outside the scope. And here we have a new figure in project management that is called the project sponsor. So who is the project sponsor is my question. What do you think? Who is the project sponsor? It's not the project manager. Now we know that. So who is the project sponsor? Ideas. Patricio, what is your perception about this, Patricio?
I'm guessing it will be the board or a stakeholder.
So let's, very, very close. Let's define as stakeholders before we go to this point. What is a stakeholder in project management? What is a stakeholder?
Maybe in a specific area within the company.
Anyone that at some point touches, right word, touches the project. Anyone that at some point, even for 1 second, interacts with the project. So stakeholders are everywhere in project management because you have employees knowing about what you're doing in project management. You have suppliers informed, providing you things for you to do project management. You have company directors knowing, giving you feedback about the project that you're running. You have team members helping you to deliver the project. So everyone that at some point is involved, even for 1 second, with the project is a stakeholder. So no. Is not a stakeholder. The project sponsor by default is a stakeholder, of course. But we cannot generalize the concept to that level. Now, we know now what a stakeholder is in project management. Anyone that at any second, at any moment is involved with the project. The project sponsor, listen up, is someone with 2 qualities. And one of those qualities is Power. Power, a lot of it. A lot of it. A lot of power. A lot of power. But that's not enough. Having power is important, eh? For an sponsor. It's important. Without it, it cannot be an sponsor. You need power, but not enough. You also need something else that is called influence. Influence. When you have power and you have influence in a company, you have all the qualities to be a project sponsor. Who is the project sponsor? Is this person with power and influence in the company that will say to you, listen up, that will say to you, project manager, go ahead and run the project. So the project sponsor is that person that is saying to you, project manager, go ahead and run the project, or will say to you, sorry, the project has not been approved. You see the level of power? But also the project sponsor needs influence, okay? Because the project sponsor needs to go to the board and defend, right word, defend your project. Against what? Against other projects of the organization. Remember what I told you. Resources are, what happened with resources in project management?
They are limited.
They are limited. So the project sponsor needs to go to the board to defend your project because the board knows that the resources are limited. So the board needs to sacrifice some projects. Do you think that all projects that are proposed in a company are approved? No. In fact, majority of them don't get through the proposal. Why? Because economies are like that. You cannot do just everything. This is not a magic world. We need to operate in real life. And in real life, we have resources, and resources are limited. So the company, if the company say to your project, yes, at the same time, the company will say to another project manager, a friend of yours probably, will be saying no. So the good project manager, the ones that we are educating here, all right, they understand the importance of this person that is called the project sponsor. So when you go to the company to propose a project, you don't go to the company as a whole. You don't call for a general meeting to discuss the project. Man, it's crazy, man. Like the amount of people that I have seen doing this, the amount of people that I have seen writing an email to 20 people in the company telling them about this new idea, this new project, is ridiculous. And you know what is the first thing that I realized? That they do not know project management. Straight away, from that very email, I realized that they don't have qualifications in project management. They don't have experience in project management, because if they knew project management, they will not send that email, that proposal to 20, 30 people in the organization. No. The project manager that knows what he or she is doing will find only one person. Listen up, one person, one, not two. I mean, cannot be more clear than this. One person, not two, not three, not 20. One person will find one person, and this project manager will discuss this project concept, because the project doesn't exist yet. It's a concept. We'll discuss, we'll share this concept with this very person, one person. What is the name of that person? The project sponsor. So the project manager needs to look for someone in the company that has power and influence. If you find someone with power but no influence, don't even tell that person your project idea. No need. Because that person with a lot of power, in terms of money, in terms of years of experience, in terms of knowledge, probably, will not have what is required to influence others in the board. So the board say, yes, let's do that. That is a mission critical project for the company. So it's not just about power, but it's also not about influence either. I have seen people at operational levels in companies, a receptionist, for example. I have seen receptionists with a lot of influence in companies, like a lot. Like they say something, the company goes around that idea. You know, the receptionist goes and say, we should be doing the Christmas party in that restaurant. And the company goes, yes, of course, you know, that's, she always is right. She's always right. Or she goes and say, I don't like that person. You know, she started working here 2 weeks ago, but there is something about her that I just don't like, the receptionist would say. Guess what happened to that person? It's fired, man. A lot of influence, but little power. So you need to find this gem, this superhero in the company that is called the project sponsor. Now, the project sponsor needs to be someone that is working in the company always. Whereas the project manager could be someone working outside the company.
Yes, exactly.
So it's just to start connecting all the ideas. Remember, we are in the baseline, yeah? It's full on. We are going to learn all these key concepts so then we can execute. Tavish, can you tell us a little bit of your experience in these regards?
Yes, the baseline is play the key role for any project. We have to define each and everything and define the scope of responsibilities and authorities as well while in the resources. So when we will start the project, we know the scope and everyone know their responsibilities and authorities.
Wow, the responsibilities and authorities. Are you listening to this? Everyone knows. In project management, everyone knows what is their role. That's why I told you. Thank you, Tavis. Your insight is so appreciated.
Welcome.
In project management, as Tavis has mentioned, people know what is their role. And the project manager needs to tell people, hey, this is your role. You need to do the system. And that's your responsibility. And don't give me dramas about it. Don't give me dramas about your responsibility because that is your task. Now, my task is different to yours, though. And then the other person would say, yes, and my task is different as well. I am not doing the system, I'm doing the marketing. Okay. And that is your task. So in project management, everything is about what is the role of that person within the project, what is that person needs to deliver in the form of a task. A task. A task is an activity, is the minimum representation of work to be done in project management. Super important to remember this, my friends. We need to do activities, we need to do tasks in project management. But they are not these very complex things. No, they are very simple things. People understand what needs to be done, when, how. And there is one person that is associated with that very task. It's great that we get into this point now. And the reason I am mentioning the project sponsor as a critical component of managing the scope is because when you go to the project sponsor, imagine that you want to have, I'm going to tell you my example. When I was working for Packard Australia, after 2 years of working there, I realized that the company was not represented digitally to best advantage. I'm going to repeat this so you understand how a project starts. I was in China. I was invited to participate in this company, so I moved from China to Australia with my family again. And I started working for this company. And after 2 years of being involved with the company, I realized that the company digitally was not represented to the best advantage. In other words, in real life, the company was like this, powerful. But in the virtual life, which is the internet, the company was represented like a small company. So it was not represented to best advantage, you see? So I say to the company, let's create a digital blueprint. What is a digital blueprint? Websites, social media, articles, search engine optimization processes, visualization in Google engines, ranking in Google engines, and so on and so on. Let's represent what this company is in the digital world. But I didn't went to the company as a whole. I found a project sponsor. Who was my project sponsor? The director of IT. I went to the director of IT and I say to the director of IT, which is someone with power and influence, I say, I want to do this. And the director told me, what is the scope, Santi? And I went, the scope is, I need 5 years. It was a macro project. I need $2 million. And I need a group, a team of 6. And the project sponsor went like, thank you. I will let you know. That's it. I just want you to understand this. When you have a project in mind, because you are a curious mind, you go and find a project sponsor, someone with power and influence. And the project sponsor, which is someone with power, influence, knowledge, experience, know-how, if he's a good professional, probably it's not the first time that this person is being a project sponsor, will reply to you like, all right, what is the scope? And then you will say, my scope, what I have in mind is 5 years, $2 million, 6 people. And then the project sponsor will say to you, thank you, I will let you know. This director of IT went to the board. In majority of companies, the board meets every 2 weeks. So he went to the board, and after about 3 weeks, he sent me an email. Santi came to my office. I went to his office, and you know what he said? Santi, you have a green light. That's what he said. It's a very normal terminology in project management, the green light or the thumbs up. You have the green light, which means the scope that you have in mind makes sense to us. We are okay taking the risk of supporting this project now. I will be the project sponsor and you will be the project manager. You, project manager, report to me, project sponsor, and the project sponsor reports to who?
The board.
To the board. So, when there is a change request of the scope, this is all to explain the scope. And with this, I finish. What is inside the scope? What 3 elements we have the scope? Manuel, give me one.
On scope.
Sorry.
What is that, Manu?
Sorry, I cannot answer. Sorry.
Give me, all right, Patricio, give me one of the elements that are inside the scope.
Timeline.
Budget.
Resources. Budget.
Yes, timeline, resources, and budget. All right, Manu, are we clear with this?
Yeah. Sorry.
Always, Manu, in a project, we need.
This is project scope.
This is the scope.
Yeah, budget, resources, and timeline. Yeah, all
That's
good.
simple, and I know that Tavis knows this. The beauty of project management is that it's recognized by the international standard organization. So the vast majority of people in the entire planet, they follow the same methodology of project management. So it's always like this. This will not change. This is the scope, all right? So if somebody is asking you to add something else to the scope, then you will say, all right, send me a change request. And then you are going to analyze that change request with who? With the project sponsor. So then you go with the project sponsor and you say, this person wants us to add this to the project. And then the project sponsor will say, yes, it is approved, that change request. Or will say, not yet, I need to discuss it with the board. And if the board says, yes, it is approved, then the project sponsor goes to the project manager and says, now you have $1.2 million, not 1 million. Now you have 7 people, not 6. Now you have 7 months, not 6.
Exactly. Good.
So we need to understand this process in order to manage the project scope. Guys, how are we going? Are we getting there in terms of the project scope? Great. I will give you 10 minutes for a break. Yeah. So it's 10:55. I will see you here around 11 and 5 minutes. Okay.
Australian
Thank you,
time.
Grab a
Santi.
coffee.
Melbourne
Okay.
time.
Melbourne time.
Oh yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Melbourne time. Melbourne time.
Okay.
See you in 10 minutes, my
Right.
friends.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Santi. Bye-bye.
Okay, guys. Let's start coming back.
Hello.
Hello. All right.
Hello.
Hello. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So the platform has everything that you need to support the classes that we are doing in Zoom. I need to clarify this so you understand and you appreciate what it has been developed for you. The platform has everything that you need in order to support what you learn in the Zoom class, which is what is happening right now. So there are some videos there that I need you guys to consume, that I need you guys not to watch, no, to consume, to absorb, because that is how the online diploma works. The hours that we have here, even though they're great, are not enough. So you need to refer to the platform to have a look at the video of this very unit. There are 4 videos for this unit. One video is to introduce the unit to you. There is another video, that the next one, that explains how to get project approval. How to get project approval. The next video after that one is what is the project scope. And finally, you have a last video that will be telling you how to manage the project scope. They are very short videos. We are talking about 2 minutes, 3 minutes videos. So easy for you to understand. You can watch that video 10 times if you want to. But when I was recording those videos, I was thinking about this very moment. What is that I can do to support the learning experience of our students? And the response to that was short videos, not 10 minutes, not 20 minutes videos, no, minutes. But it's like an essential oil. You know what an essential oil is? Yeah?
Yes.
The result of 3 tons of leaves. And then you end with this little, container with same thing. The video is the essential oil of the unit of competency. So I need you to have a look at those videos after the class or before the class if you want to. That is your responsibility. Remember, when we were talking about responsibility, nothing will happen to you. If you don't watch them, nothing will happen to you. But it is your responsibility to watch them because that will support your learning experience. Also, there is a PowerPoint presentation there, or a PDF, which is going through everything that I am explaining to you. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now,
Clear.
I need you to understand this as well. I am not a PowerPoint presentation teacher. That's not my style. I respect, when teachers use PowerPoints to deliver the class, I respect that. But that's not my style. Doesn't work for me. But it's there for you to consume any time that you need to go back to the concepts. Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
This is more a conversation. This is more a workshop. This is real life kind of thing. This is how it is. When you talk about project management with your colleagues, you don't go and say, hey, wait, I'm going to show you my PowerPoint. No, you talk about it. So just before I move to the execution component of this class, I want you guys to understand again what we have learned. We have learned today how to get project approval. how to get project approval. We have learned this today. I need to put you in the spotlight. This is how this works. Who can tell me how you get project approval? And if I don't have a positive answer about this, I cannot go any further. That is the point. So how you get a project approved in your organization, what you need to do?
In my organization, I have to fill up the project booking approval form.
Yes.
The components which are in part of this approval form is what is the exact scope, what is the price, what is the cost, and what is the gross margin. And it has to be signed by the relevant authorized finance person, the project manager, and the project department manager. These three persons are signing this document.
Thank you, Tavish. As you can see, it's a very structured process, isn't it? You need forms, you need signatures, you need approvals. So
Yes.
Tavish scenario is very corporate. I'm going to give you once again, but I need you guys to remember this concept because this is a more general approach to this. For you to get a project approved, you need to find, listen up, a project sponsor. All right, I'm going to repeat the question now. Andres, how you get a project approval?
You start by filling the specific forms needed.
No, I
No.
understand that is Tavish experience with it. I understand that. But that is very specific to his organization. So the phone will be always there, always, because project approvals and everything that we do in project management is official, is formal. So it will be there. But for the sake of the class, Manuel, in Australia, Mike, you know this, and I want you to support me with this for a second.
Okay.
Manu,
if I can, yeah.
In Australia, we have units of competencies, yes?
Yeah.
And this particular unit of competency that we are doing now is called How to Get Project Approval, yes? It's all about the student having the skills, the minimum skills required to execute that particular knowledge in a company, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And that is a standard everywhere you are in Australia, isn't it? And that is why, even though I appreciate Tavish experience with this, for the sake of the class, for you to have the certificate, the diploma, I need to make sure that everyone here understands how the skill is assessed in Australia. Isn't it, Manu?
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here. That's why it's formal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, thanks, Manu. For me to be able to say, yes, Andres, Jose, Tavish, Patricio, they understand this element of competency, this skill. I need you to tell me something like this. If I ask you how you get a project approved in your company, what I need you guys to remember for the sake of this particular diploma is I need to find someone with power and influence in my organization, and that person is my project sponsor.
So the correct person.
Okay. Yes, right.
That's it. That's it. If you know that, then I can move to the next part. All right. So Jose Carlos, how you get a project approved in a company?
First having a project sponsor.
That's it. That's it. That's it. How simple is it? And now you know what is the project sponsor. What is a project sponsor? What is the project sponsor, Andres?
Is someone who is inside the company who might in the company hierarchy might be a step above.
Yeah, sounds good, but we need to be very precise with our words.
Person who has the authority.
Exactly, Tavish.
Yeah. So the power and the influence?
That's it. That's it. We need to be very, very precise with these words, because when it comes to the point of marking the assessments, we need to see that. So who is the project sponsor? Is someone, well done, Andres, working inside the company with authority, which means power and influence. All right. Okay. Thank you. Now we know how to get the project approval. Number 2. What is project scope? Patricio, what is the project scope?
It's the budget, which is the money you need. It's the timeline, which is the commitment of time when you will have the project done and when you will start the project. And the resources, which is the team and the group of people you will be working with.
Yes. Great. That said, my dear Patricio, what you have described is not what is the project scope. You have described what is inside the project scope. So if my question is what the project scope contains, what is inside the project scope, then your answer about the budget, the resources, and the timeline will be just perfect. But that's not my question, Patricio. My question is, what is the project scope? And we need to be precise. Andres, Jose Carlos, what is the project scope? Jose.
I'm sorry. I think is our final goal to achieve.
No, that is the project objective.
Okay.
So what about if the project that you present to be approved? Because you need the 3 elements, right? That Patricio said before. So the project scope is that you will present to the person with the influence to approve.
Exactly right. That is the process. You present the project scope to that person with power and influence for that person to say, I am interested. I'm going to discuss this with the board. Yes. All right. Yeah. Manu.
Yeah.
Manu, you remember when you and I, we first talked about this? You were that person with power and influence.
A little bit.
Yeah, but you were seriously, you were the first point of contact. You were the person that was assessing this, and then you discussed that with the board, which is you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a good definition of how the process works. But I need someone to tell me in 2 words or 1 word, what is the project scope?
The boundaries of the project.
That's it. That's it. The boundaries of the project. That's it. You cannot forget that, because if you remember the word boundary, you will have a pictorial, an image representation of what is the scope. So I need you to visualize this circle when you think about what is the project scope. But this is not enough. I need you to see the fence, the boundary here. That's what I need you to do and to say in the assessment. What is the project scope? Is represented by the boundaries of my project in terms of the budget, in terms of the resources, in terms of the timelines. At the same time, it represents my responsibility against the deliverables of the project. What I need to deliver in this project. That is contained here within that project scope. You don't need to go that far, if somebody asks you tomorrow or in 5 years' time or in 20 years' time, what is the project scope? You will say that is represented by the boundary, the limits of my project. All right. So is that clear for everyone?
Yes,
Because
clear.
that is the element of competency number 2. In Australia, for you to have a qualification, this is the element of competency number 1 of this qualification. This is the element number 2 of this qualification. But this qualification has another element, which is how to manage the project scope. So how we manage the project scope? By protecting the baseline of the project. What is the baseline of the project? Tavish was explaining this very well. What is the objective of that project? What we need to deliver in that project? What are the roles of the people working in this project? What are the responsibilities?
For any project, the role we have to initially the baseline is we have to define the responsibility of each and every person who are involved in this project. Once we will define the authority and responsibility of the project, we can manage the project scope easily.
Great. Great. So when we manage the project scope, we have an understanding that every person within the team has a particular role and a particular responsibility. Remember, Manuel, that we were talking about this just before? Who is responsible for the system? Who is responsible for the marketing? Who is responsible for anything else? It needs to be crystal clear who is that person and what is the task that that person is executing. Tavish, thank you very much. That was just spot on. All right, so this is it. Now I feel happy that you now know how to manage the project scope. Now, I finished with this before we close the class. Guys, defining the project scope is one of the easiest things to do in project management. Defining the project scope is one of the easiest things in project management. That's why it's one of the basics. That's why it's in the baseline block. But at the same time, it's one of the most difficult things to agree on. This is the dilemma of the project scope. Super easy to define. Oh, yeah, the boundary, and within the boundary, we have the budget, the timeline, the resources. Easy to define, but extremely difficult to agree on with your stakeholders, with your key stakeholders. Extremely difficult. Why? Because every stakeholders, they have an interest, an individual interest, and that is normal. And they want the best part for them. Or they want to do the less work, whatever is the case. So you need to manage that properly. Therefore, for the project manager, negotiation skills are super important. Communication skills are extremely important, because at the end of the day, for that project scope to be approved, you need to have all the skills required to negotiate it properly. All right? Don't forget about that. And with that, I finish with this unit. Now, that was the theory. If you need to support what you have learned, go to the videos, go to the PowerPoint, go to the PM book, go to the supporting documents that we have in the platform. But in terms of theory, you are okay now in terms of project scope. Now we need to execute on this knowledge. Our diploma is practical. It's not just about learning, it's about executing. I need you guys to define your project now. That's how it is. I mean, you know, imagine that this is a cooking class. Yeah. I'm telling you how to bake the bread, but now you need to bake the bread. Otherwise, there is no value in education. Modern education is you learn, you do. And then you learn, and then you do, and so on, and so on, and so on. Now you have learned, now you need to do. So I need you guys, seriously, I mean it, in the next few days, which means in the next week, before our next class, I need you guys to define what will be the project that you will be running in the next 6 months with me. I will be supporting you. I will be guiding you. So you make the most out of that endeavor, of that enterprise. That is my promise. I will give 100% of myself so you are successful with that project of use. But now you are in a position of making a decision, yes? And that is not easy. A lot of people do not like to make decisions. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that a lot of people are uncomfortable making a decision? They don't want to take a position about an issue? Manu knows this because he knows about politics, yes? A politician needs to make a decision about a position. Do I have a position against this topic? Yes or no? A politician has it. In project management, we need to have a position, a decision. So you need to decide in the next 5-7 days before our next class, what will be the project that you will be running in this very program. The assessment will be answered, operated, solved using your very project. Now, if for any reason you say to me, Santi, no, I don't want to run a project. Okay, no problem. But then I will give you a business case. I will give you a business case that makes sense. So it's not that you have to, don't take me wrong, but I want you to. Because I know that that is how people learn when they execute in real life what they learn in the classroom, in the virtual classroom in this case. But I understand that for any circumstances, for any reasons, you may not want to run a project. If that is the case, you need to tell me, you need to, not now, but you need to tell me, Santi, give me something to work on. And I have plenty of business cases for you to do that. But at the end of the day, you will not be that confident about project management, I know. And remember, the objective is confidence. That is the objective of this program. Don't forget about that. Confidence. So I need you to select a project. Now, let's talk about the size of that project. In project management, usually, normally, traditionally, you need a large team to execute a project. I need you guys to understand that the diploma of project management was designed to support companies to run projects. Companies, usually companies, organizations, they have enough resources for this to happen. So that is what would be ideal. But if you don't have that environment, then you need to run a small project. Now, In a small project, you will not have a board. You're lucky if you have a sponsor. So don't go that small either. Don't go for the easiest, shortest project to run. No, try to find a good middle term if you don't want to go large. All right. So I need you to decide in terms of the size of that project. You want to make, or you want to run a small project? You want to run a medium-sized project? You want to run a large-size project that will change the company you're working for? You need to think about it, and you need to decide that by next class. Small, medium, large. Which one is it? Totally up to you. It's your decision. Once you have decided this, I need you for next class to give me a project name. What is the name of that project? What is the title of that project? If someone asks you, what is that project about? You start with, the name of the project is blah, 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 and it's about this and that. What is the project name? I need that. Once you have decided the project name, I need you to think about the budget. I'm going to give you good news here. Because of digital technologies that are available to everyone, everywhere, nowadays, in terms of capital, in terms of money, we need a fraction of what was needed 10 years ago. What I want you to understand here is that you can run a project with a few $100s. But you need to decide on it. You need to think, oh, you might say to me, Santi, I want to do a website. That will be my project. I want to do an e-commerce website to sell camera parts from Taiwan to Australia. All right. What is the budget? And you may say to me, my budget is $600. All right. So that will be your budget, and you will commit to that. And then you need to tell me, all right, Santi, my resources. What are my resources? What is the first resource that you have here? What is the first thing that you need to mention? This very program, your teacher. But probably you have colleagues, you have friends, you have a network of project managers that could support you too. What are the resources? And finally, what is the timeline of that project? When you start the project, could be today if you decide that today, could be next week if you decide that next week, or could be in a month's time if you need a little bit more of time. But you need to tell me a date. And please, don't go and tell me, oh, Santi, I will do it in 2 months. No. In project management, we need to be objective and always down to earth in terms of factual information. You need to give me the fact. You need to give me the number. You need to tell me, Santi, I'm going to start my project the 15th of April. And I will say, good, yeah. Nothing like in 2 months, 3 weeks. That is subjective. Project management does not allow subjectivity. Has to be objective. So you need to give me the date. And you need to commit to a deadline as well. You see, not easy. You're feeling the pressure now, yes? You're feeling the pressure. This is what happens in real life with project managers. That's it. That is the homework. Nothing else to do. Nothing else to say. Thank you for the class. I will see you next week. Please feel free to reach out anytime. My email is santi@feb.org. santibela.com. Another alternative that you can have, if you want, talk with your classmates, organize a WhatsApp group for us to have a community to solve questions and doubts that we may have about the program. That will be very, very useful, but it will be your responsibility to create that community. I open the environment for that to happen, but if you want to have an open group in WhatsApp, for example, for us to talk as we need, go and do it. A lot of my students do that, and it works pretty well, but that is completely up to you. If there is someone in the group that wants to lead this, you have a green light. All right, before I finish, I'm going to tell you briefly what you need to prepare in terms of knowledge for our next class. Our next class is about how to manage project information and communication. Okay? Sorry, guys. Actually, that is wrong. That is wrong. That will be in the week number 3. Sorry. Our next class is still about how to manage the project scope. All right? So the next class, we are going to execute on everything that we have learned, and you need to prepare this that I told you just before. Are we clear with that? Fantastic, guys. Any questions before I finish? Anything that you want to know? Anything that you want to say? This is the time, guys. We still have some time. Jose, anything that you want to say? Any feedback? Any doubt about what you need to deliver for next class, Jose?
No. Well, I have a doubt because I have a task to implement a project. The project is already running in the plant of Puebla. It's a supply chain management area that we don't have now in the plant of Guanajuato. So we have, I have to work for the next months in the implementation of that project, but I don't know if it could work here. I think.
Perfect. That will be your project. That's your project. Don't think twice about it. You're lucky that you have that possibility in front of you. It will be a nonsense to do anything else. If we need to organize that supply chain management for that location in Puebla, yeah?
In Guanajuato.
In Guanajuato, we need to do it. That's what we need to do. So easy for you. No problem. All right?
Okay, thank you.
You need to give me next class the project name, the budget, the resources, and the timeline. Does the information needs to be precise? No. Probably your budget is $1 million, but probably you want to manage for the class sake a budget of $1,000. But you know that it represents 1 million. You know what I mean?
Okay,
you need to play smart about it, because I know that some companies are very sensitive when it comes to information, especially when it comes to projects, yeah?
Yes.
But use it. You will go around that. All right, thank you. Patricio, I want you to tell me, Mike, what you feel now, you know, what is happening inside?
I'm nervous because I don't really know what to work on. I'm going to be thinking about it this week, and I have an appointment with my tutor of my university next week, so I will probably ask her because I wanted to have something to do with my career. Maybe she can guide me on that, make me some suggestions. I don't think I have any questions for now. I think it's going very well.
Thank you. Thank you,
I
Patricio.
made the WhatsApp group. If you guys want to join, I will send the link.
That is called leadership, you see? That is called leadership. And that's what you say when you introduce yourself, remember? Good on ya. That's it. I like that. That is telling me lots about who you are. Good on you. That is the attitude. Well done, Mike. I'm going to tell you something else before you go, before we finish. I understand that you have a tutor to ask, to rely on when it comes to, you know, career decisions and so on and so on and so on. But I want you to understand something. The project manager, the real project manager is a creator. The project manager doesn't do market research. The project manager doesn't go 6 months asking the market what I should do. So I understand your point, and you are a very young person, so fair enough. But might try to make the decision yourself this time. Believe me. You know, have a look at your family, what they have done in previous generations. Could that be a guideline of what you should be doing this time? Or have a look at what your friends are telling you when you meet with them, and they tell you, hey, Patricio, you are really good at this and that and that. Give value to that. Do a reverse engineering kind of process for you to find the solution yourself first.
Okay.
Now, if you cannot find the solution, go to the tutor. But but project managers don't go around trying to find out something. No.
Okay.
It's something that starts from within them. That's why the project managers are so special and so valued in countries like Australia, for example. So think twice about what you say, and give yourself the chance to make that decision this time. Manu, before I finish,
Yep.
Anything that you want to add? Is it clear what you need to deliver next class?
Yeah. I need to think in what kind of project, because I have different in mind. So, but yeah, I have plenty of time to decide during the weekend and the next week.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time. Sometimes you can decide on a project in a second. Sometimes it may take days, but it's not about weeks. When we start, you know, thinking about deciding in terms of weeks, that is not a good executive. That's why we have this word in the business world, executive, because you execute. You don't delay. So good on you, Manu. Think about all the projects that you can do. Choose one, and we try to elaborate on that project here. Tavish, thank you for coming to the class and for your collaboration. It's highly appreciated. Is it clear what we need from you for next class, Tavish?
Yes, it's clear. And I will also think the project. I will decide is a good time, enough time, a week time to finalize which project we have to choose. But I have one question here. Can you guide us, like if we choose one project, how we are going to execute here? Is it a real execution or is just a virtual execution kind of thing?
Ideally, real.
Okay.
Ideally, but I cannot force this. Manu knows about this. We cannot force anything in the Australian education framework. We cannot force it. I cannot tell you, you need to have a real project to run, but it will be ideal. Now, if it's not possible, because some company policies, for example, do not allow you to share information with anybody else.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If it's not possible, then you do something that could be parallel to it. You will find out your way. I know.
Okay.
But ideally, of course, I want everything to be real. At the end of the day, the only reason why we do project management is because we want the company to grow, to change, to make more money, to sell more, to capture new markets, to retain more customers. So it's all related to the economies of a company, and sometimes that is very sensitive for many people. So find out. Now, in your case, Tavish, if you are already running a project, you can also use that. You know, you don't need to start from scratch in your particular case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, beautiful. Andres, wow, I have to say thank you for your attitude and collaboration today. That was truly appreciated. Andres, is it clear what we learned today, Mike?
Yeah, clear. It's all clear. Thank you.
Do you know what is a project sponsor now, Mike?
Yeah, I understand completely. If I have I'm gonna be sure to check all the videos on the platform for sure.
If you check the videos, remember that is the essential oil. Consume them, talk about them, share them if you want.
Okay.
Now, is it clear what you need to deliver for next class, Andres?
It's clear. Yes. I was about to say, it's very inspiring to hear such a young group of people with such long careers. So it's very inspiring. I don't work for a company at the moment, but there's a couple of personal projects that I think it's very valuable. This information is very valuable to apply them on my personal projects. So it's very inspiring, and it's also very exciting. I'm very excited.
Me too, man. Me
Yeah.
too. You cannot imagine how excited I am. Me too. But I don't want you to think that because you are not working for a company or something like that, that makes you less relevant. Not at all. Don't allow that mindset to get you, Mike, at all. We are living in a new economy. It's not just about working in a company environment at all. You know, with what we have, I'm going to tell you what we have today. We have knowledge, access to knowledge everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere. By the way, I need to clarify this, and also with Manuel. You are not here to get knowledge. You get this knowledge in YouTube. You get this knowledge in a project management book. You here to get my perspective about that knowledge, my insight about that knowledge. Guys, you know what an insight is? The insight is the result of knowledge plus experience. Once you have knowledge plus experience, now you have an insight. So that's what you're going to get from me. But it's great that you are connected. I am so happy as well with the group of people that we have here, diverse, empowered, young, wanting to do things. We are going to do things. We are here for real. This is not because of a certificate. This is not because we want to stay somewhere and the certificate allows us to pay some time. No. We here because we are investing some money. We want some return on investment in terms of that money that we invest in, and we want to see that reflected in how we grow after we finish this program. Nothing else to say, guys. Have a good day, and I will see you next Saturday, 9 a.m. sharp.
Good.
Goodbye.
Enjoy the weekend.
You too,
Good
guys.
luck in
Wherever you
Mexico.
are, have a good
Thank
time.
you. Have a nice weekend.
Don't
Thank you.
drink too
The
much.
recording of this
Yeah.
class will be added to the system tomorrow. All right?
Good.
So if
Thank you, Santi.
Okay.
you want to get back to the recording of the class, you need to check the platform tomorrow, and you can go through all the thematics that we have discussed. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you, Santi.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye. See you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.